biplane. It's built and flown by.
Out to the northwest. All right, there are 10 jumpers. Fortunately, that's the number they told us there were going to be. You always like to see the number of canopies, the same number of canopies as you have jumpers. That's the first step.
All of them watching that green smoke, pulling down on the risers, slowing down the speed, and just about everybody, if not everybody, some of them were blocked by that green smoke, just about all of them, setting up for the stand-up landing.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, our jumpers have landed. Most of them get the stand-up landing. How about a nice round of applause?
Front row, number 25, Cliff McGee in an airplane called Low Ramp High Roller. And Cliff McGee, from Tulsa, Oklahoma. All right, the airplane's 2 in this row, in the middle. Charlie Chambers in a Smith miniplane called Stinger, and he is race number 11. And next to him in race number 55, Ray Krasovich in Old Yeller. Now, the final and last 3 airplanes in the back of the pack. The fastest, which this isn't also an inverted start, I'm sure you figured out by now. The fastest airplanes in this group of the 3, number 62, Mike Harris in Sonoma Red. And Mike, of course, is flying a red and white airplane. The green flag is up, we're about ready to go. Next to him, Wes Selvage, the rancher from down at Button Willow, flying his pits called Slick, red and white. And of course, Dennis Brown, flying his airplane, a pits called Careful, as we are about ready to go here. And we've got the flag down and we've got a race underway. Okay, there goes the second group. And in the front is having problems. But the aircraft's all in good shape. Our first group of 3 getting spread out already, then our group of 2, and then the final group of 3. Now my spotters up here. Jerry Brandt and Marshall Caldwell, along with Sharon Doug Coates, my unofficial timers. Well, we'll try to get these numbers. As you know, biplanes can be tough to see, especially if they're red and white. And these guys get real cute and try to disguise that race number with the paint scheme of the airplane. So, but we do what we do. I would say 170 miles an hour. We'll see what happens here. 171 miles an hour. And we'll give you the distance between that number 50 of Dallas Bridges and Roger Morgan, number 8, which is Lois Norris. As they head into the second lap of this 6-lap race. We got another pass going on right in front of us here as the airplanes go in. Whoa! And getting a little bit close there in that number 1 pylon. Those 2 biplanes, hard for me to tell right here with the way the sun is. 1 yellow, 1 red and white. And they came a little bit close. So we still got the first 3 identical. Wes Selvage now in 2. And number 11, Charlie Chambers. Picking him up on the backside of the course. Roger Rourke starting to close in just a little bit on Derek Christian in Baby. That gets he called Baby out there. First lap turned at 171. There was 1 second, 73 hundredths distance between the 2, and I'm sure you'll see that shortened up on this lap here. As we go to the start of lap 3. Time. Dennis Brown. Not enough. And of course, the last place airplane there.
Down here, they will be shining, and they will be very much visible throughout the day today as they begin to come out, and they will be heard as well.
But guess also who is 50 years old this year, folks? No, I'm not talking about me. And don't tell me that I'm not even going to tell you when you shave this morning.
Board is tires. Holy you.
I think they get wild.
Oh yeah, don't.
They must be
outboard from that, we have alternately leaders and action in the arena.
Okay, now Luke sets up to incorporate the great people that brings you the Miller products and Miller Genuine Draft 365 days a year in this area are proud to present the Jimmy Franklin Flying Circus. Now, if you look at the airplane coming in lowest to our left, as the controls, that is Jimmy Franklin, but there's a passenger on the outside of the aircraft. I'll identify that passenger for you later, but that passenger is taking a ride in economy class on Jimmy Franklin's airline without the use of ropes, wires, or cables at this point in time, and that passenger is laying on what we call the javelin strut. And strength for the wings, laying in a streamlined position in the red jumpsuit. And I hope you have film and your cameras ready because you're going to see something very soon that nobody else in the world is seeing unless they're here and here in Florida. One of the team members this weekend of the Jimmy Franklin Flying Circus and an airshow pilot extraordinaire as he takes the big cinema special aircraft into the Miller Genuine Draft. Now, eyes to your left, setting up for that turnaround maneuver. And again, we'd like to remind you, as we did yesterday, all of our airshow pilots this weekend fighting that demon here at Reno, known as density altitude. Essentially, it saps the strength from the aircraft and the aircraft engine. They just don't perform as well as they do. Pilots all have to use an extra amount of skill to be able to reach. He executes a 5/8 of the loop maneuver. You know that to be a half Cuban 8 from the 45-degree down line. He rolls back to the right side up position, passes through the slope once again. He just looked below the aircraft in between the landing gear as Superman has now taken over the aircraft and is helping Jimmy Franklin fly. There you get a good view of Lee, Superman Owen, as he is the only wing walker in the world to take the ride below the aircraft as he supports Jimmy Franklin. Now, as I was driving to work today, coming down the highway, I was doing about 50. Lee Owen was jogging. He passed me up. He is fast, and I can prove it right about in here. Show him, Lee. Run! Doing about 150 miles an hour as again he barrel rolls over, helping Jimmy Franklin fly the airplane. And again, you are watching this as the only witnesses to see this particular act because the combination of Jimmy Franklin and Lee Owen are the whole slowdown. That propeller blast reduces the amount of time that Lee needs to get to a different point on the airplane because each rotation of the propeller is a blast against his body. Jimmy brings the prop back as far as he can to keep the aircraft flying. The speed is relatively slow because of the wind resistance as Lee makes his way arm over arm, hand over hand, and foot over foot to yet another position on the aircraft. Now, when Lee makes his way to the top of the aircraft, he'll be utilizing that rack that you may see on the top of the he will be attached with a waist belt. If he wasn't, he would be thrown clear from the aircraft or fall away from it, much like any object that you would drop out of your hand. Gravity is the boss in this case, and gravity does not make any exception. Barnstormer fashion is the legendary pilot Elliott Crowe. The Miller Genuine Draft Special Aircraft of Jimmy Franklin. This, the cinema special. As he sets up now, in that spinning and tumbling maneuver, backing up on the tail, down the nose, punch, as he brings that stick into his lap once again. Points the nose of the aircraft stakes down, and reaches speed the factory never thought that this former World War II trainer would reach. Speeds of approximately 200 miles per hour. Now, originally, these two black Miller Genuine Draft aircraft were built by the Weaver Aircraft Company in Ohio. The company's name was shortened to WACO. Their slogan was, "Ask Any Pilot." They built a beautiful line of cabin and open These aircraft were formerly UPF-7 World War II docile trainers, two-place open cockpit aircraft powered by 220 horsepower. They have been modified by Jimmy Franklin and his friends to withstand this grueling work that is done weekend after weekend. Is one of the busiest individuals on the air show tour each and every year. You'll see why. You've already seen why with some of the action that he provides, and you'll continue to see why throughout the course of today, this afternoon, and this weekend. I'm here with now an example of what we call the hammerhead turnaround. Point the nose of the aircraft straight up, the speed bleeds off, at the last possible second you kick in full enough rudder, go from straight up speed so that you have entry speed for the next maneuver. And the pilot high overhead executing the are flying in the true tradition of barnstormers out of the golden age of barnstorming, the 1920s and 1930s. When at a time before there were many airports at the villages, towns, and cities around the country, young airmen introducing aviation to our nation utilized armored steel to introduce their new form of freedom and the form of transportation. They would do these type of stunts over town. Make a lot of noise. They would hope that people would get in their buggy. It is Lee Ullman, wing walker extraordinaire, and he is now on the top wing. Use your imagination and picture yourself going through this maneuver. And Jimmy Franklin and Lee Ullman will be the only two people again today setting up for the tail slide maneuver and the torque roll maneuver as well. And Lee now gets the blast of air from behind him instead of in front of him. The Pratt with the engine of 500 horsepower. He takes over again. Lee is looking towards 150, 160, 180, and 190. He locks his knees before the high G pull-up, so his legs won't buckle. He holds his breath momentarily until his speed dissipates down to about 120. On the Jimmy Franklin with Lee on the top wing. Now sets up for the down snap roll. Getting that whiplash effect on the top wing. And now you can see why that waist belt is so important. Yes, he would be broke, and it would probably deploy when I needed it the least. Okay, Elliott Cross now smoking down. The airplane was designed by Jimmy Franklin and built specifically for motion picture work, with the ability to have three cockpits instead of two, to be able to hold the leading man, the leading lady, and an out-of-camera shot in the rear cockpit with 4 or 5 pilots. In addition, on the outside of the aircraft, there are 6 pointing to the right of the aircraft, a side shot, a shot from the tail forward, a shot from the nose back to the stars, or profile views, whatever you happen to need. And it has been used in some motion pictures by Jimmy Franklin, including Disney's Rocketeer. Elliott now taking his turn at the military. Look at the cockpits of these aircraft to offset the weight of the higher horsepower Pratt and Whitney engines. Got the cockpit way back towards the tail in true racing tradition. That's to offset the weight and balance in a comfortable area so the aircraft will fly correctly. See that cockpit way back in relation to where it used to be. I'll tell you again, this was a docile World War II trainer with 220 horsepower by the factory. And I don't think anybody will disagree that nobody ever thought that these and also really was on the top. You can see his red jumpsuit and Jimmy Franklin sets up for the double snap. Now Lee sees a lot of sagebrush and concrete coming up to meet him. He has held his breath in that time. He is like one buckle. Watch as they go up now and over across the top. As Lee once again looks down at the ground, looking at his own smoke. They go through the smoke right about in here. Always watching for that airspeed and proper altitude to be able to complete the maneuvers. Now while Lee Oman is not a large target on the outside of the aircraft. He's just a little He provides aerodynamic drag or inefficiency. The airplane just doesn't perform as well as it would without Lee on the outside. In fact, even though he does not present a main target on the aircraft, he doubles the aerodynamic drag that the aircraft would have without Lee. For that reason, Jimmy Franklin has to climb longer and dive longer for the proper entry speed. The airspeed indicator just does not move as fast as it normally would in a dive when Lee was off the airplane. So Jimmy has to fly this act completely different than he would fly a solo act with just he and the aircraft starring. There's where the waste bell comes in very handy. And Jimmy Franklin, the back absolutely free of charge. Okay, now we're going to change the pace a little bit. Jimmy Franklin has been doing aerobatics. Now Lee Oman is going to be setting up and doing acrobatics. As they come in on these flat passes, we'll watch for Lee to set up a different pose on that top rack each and every time. Now as they come in on the first one, if Jimmy rolls the aircraft upside down, watch for Lee on the top wing. You'll have yellow streamers on each hand. He will try to hook those streamers on the hand. Behind Lee's hands, he's going to try to hook both of them. As he does about 95% of the time, he lets one go and gets it. He'll let the other one go. Did he get it? I had a camera in front of me. I couldn't see. We'll see as he comes back around once again. Now, on each one of these passes, Jimmy Franklin will be doing what we call a gentle crop duster turnaround, changing direction, or a light circle. That gives Lee time to transition from one pose to the other. As they come back in now, watch for this next one. They call this the Mercury. And affectionately, we lighten it up a little bit and call it the Hood ornament. Lee, using that rack, is free and clear from the belt, bent over at about a 60-degree angle, and riding the airways with his arms and hands to stabilize him against that rack. Okay, this is my favorite pass. Look at the quick turnaround. And direct your attention to the top of the top wing. You'll see that Lee has probably flipped for the Reno air race. What you're seeing now are feet and legs pointing up towards the sky. In that short turnaround, Lee did a headstand on that top wing and is pointing his toes, his feet, and his legs up towards the Reno skies. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Jimmy Franklin and Lee Oman and Elliott Krause as well, and our thanks to Luce and Sons Incorporated, the great providers of Miller products and Miller Genuine Draft here at the air races again this year, and also in the areas wherever you are enjoying the great taste of cold beer on your visit here to Reno Parks and the surrounding area. Now this tech pass will be called a big flag. Lee will be holding on to that rack with one hand. He'll spread his body way back over the top of the fuselage, almost over the top of Jimmy Franklin. And again, hanging on with one thing, the strength of his right hand, pointing down towards his father. Jimmy Franklin says, I trust this guy with my life. Now watch for the quick turnaround again. You'll see the speed is not necessary because Lee is changing those poses. And Jimmy's making Lee's life as easy as he can. Now the mark of a good team is teamwork and friendship. Watch this. As they come by, they'll be shaking hands, believe it or not. This is called the teamwork pass and the handshake pass. Jimmy extends his right arm way out of the cockpit. Lee leans way back, and yes, they are shaking hands while Jimmy flies the airplane. Again, ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for the skill of Jimmy Franklin, the daring of Lee Oman, and the expertise of Mr. Elliott Krause flying solo and augmenting the Miller Genuine Draft Barnstormers this morning. Ski jumper. In fact, if he wasn't hanging out, he wouldn't be able to fly the aircraft. Way out by the strut, and that's the two wings. And here's where Jimmy Franklin's skill comes in. And Lee is way out there with that aerodynamic drag. Isn't present on the other side of the aircraft. So Jimmy Franklin has to cross control the counterbalance drag on one side of the aircraft. The other side. guys, we'd like to remind you that due to release this month, the month of September, well, our two pilots of the great tradition of barnstorming and our stuntman Lee Oman will be coming in to take a bow in the Miller Genuine Draft Special Aircraft, and they'll be back later on today for another flight to be called the Dueling Wacos, as we set up and dogfight in the sky with these two beautifully modified Waco aircraft out of the Franklin Flying Circus. Well, Lee Oman did a great job of standing up for us out there in some tough conditions. Would you stand for Lee right now? The reason being he can't hear you because of the engine noise. But if you stand up and wave to both he and Jimmy and Elliot Cross, they will appreciate your enthusiasm. You can take your hats off and wave your hats if you want to. But that is tough, and he is only one of...
All right, I have an emergency message here, please. Report to Air Race Headquarters, Craig Sparrow. Now, on the parade car down there, winning race out there, no cut, so without a doubt, he was Manny. That's what they were spotting him, 8 seconds. So it's I'll wait on my spotter and give me the okay on it. It is. Multi pushing lower. Number 50, which of course was Scotty Treadwell. Speed, turn, 231 miles an hour. Bruce's airplane, incidentally, was going to pass one out to the left. Get you updated here as soon as they come across start-finish line. Bruce Bohannon.
Sunshine Corporation bringing you Jimmy Franklin, Elliot Cross, and Wingwalker Lee Oman. Give them a big round of applause, if you will.
So it is with mixed emotion that we now introduce Leslie Gardner and his P-38, the White Lightning. In that hangar, they were fully restored and flying World War II combat aircraft. Lefty each time he comes by. Be quiet, let Lefty's white button do the talking. P-38 was a product of what is affectionately known as the Lockheed Skunk Works. Out of the Lockheed Skunk Works have come some of the most radical designs of airplanes in the last 50 years. The P-38 was no exception. Some of its fellow airplanes which have come out of that place, Lockheed SR-71, the U-2, C-5, and most recently the F-117 Stealth. The P-38 was known as World War II's most successful twin-engine fighter. A lot of people think it was only in the Pacific, and it did see service in the European theater also, with a Luftwaffe named as the Fork-tailed Devil. A second fighter group was known as being the group that shot down 522 Japanese planes. Most highly acclaimed ace in the United States military history, Richard Baum, known as Ace of Aces, made his 41 kills in a P-38.
Don't think that.
go down there and meet Lefty, you will find he is truly a gentleman. One of the finest individuals we've seen here at Reno and perhaps on the entire... The museum that the airplane is going to has a 10-acre site down there in Palm Springs, right next to an existing taxiway on the east side of the Palm Springs Regional Airport. The theme of the museum will be preservation of historic combat airplanes and the education of younger generations regarding those aircraft and the legacy of their successful operations. Remember, those who don't learn the lessons of history are condemned to repeat them. It'll be one of the purposes of the museum. That the White Lightning will fit perfectly within the parameters of the museum. Yeah. We are delighted to memorialize this wonderful historic airplane. I mean, the Palm Springs Museum. One more weekend before he retires the White Lightning. His beautiful airplane doing aerobatics for it throughout the years. He's also been in the races and he has to ride it with some gang, and he rode it last month. Signed Poet Jackie, and it says after the air shows are over and there are no more races to run, I trust that the good Lord above me will look favorably on all the flying I've done. You know, it's been like heaven on earth to fly this magnificent plane, to pierce the sky and dodge the clouds and soar above the rain. All right, as Lefty rolls the airplane inverted and extends the landing gear when he's upside down. A race plane, Chuck Lisher, number 2 airplane, Barney registered. Jerry Cat flying the number 3 airplane. It will be part of our opening ceremony scheduled to take place at approximately 10:30.
All right, now sitting down there in the parade car, this beautiful black and gray 1914 Buick, we have the winner of the Formula One bronze, and incidentally, it's a very important race for Bruce because it moved him up, bumped him up into gold. It is, without a doubt, the fastest that Bruce has ever gone in Reno, the winner of the Formula One can do. So again, congratulations to Bruce Bohannon and all of his crew.
Okay, thank you, Sandy Sanders. Congratulations, Bruce Bohannon. Now, Joanne Osterrood. Sponsored by the Pepsi-Cola Company is getting ready for the Pepsi Challenge. Now we've got a race of a different sort. If you look out on the ramp, you'll see the support vehicle, that red truck. Behind the truck is an awesome machine known as Smoke and Thunder. It's an exhibition jet-powered dragster. The owner, driver, and builder is Scott Hammock. The crew member assisting Scott is his wife, Linda Hammock. It is powered by a Westinghouse J34 engine, originally used in the North American Buckeye T2. It provides 6,000 pounds of thrust, and that equates to 10,000 horsepower. Joanne Osterrood, now part of the Pepsi Challenge, has opened up with her tribute to her good friend and fellow air show pilot and air race pilot, Bush Radley. Her opening maneuver was known as the Budley. Now, preparations are being made for this race. It will be the Pepsi Challenge. Joanne Osterrood in the biplane. The ultimate biplane is being sponsored by Pepsi. Scott Hammock in the 10,000 horsepower powered jet. Our Smoke and Thunder dragster is also sponsored by Pepsi. They are carrying the Pepsi banner for their sponsors, and they both want to win this race. Now, here's how we're going to handicap the race. Joanne is equipped with an engine that provides 325 horsepower. It is a Lycoming. Scott Hammock has that 10,000 horsepower jet engine at his disposal. He is going to be standing still on the runway. Joanne is going to be diving in at her maximum speed. Until he sees her overhead, he will not release the brakes and unleash that awesome 10,000 horsepower. That's how we're going to handicap this race. Lefty Gardner bringing in the beautiful P-38 Lightning. Watch how he takes a bow. Everybody wait, there's his bow. He'll touch the brakes on the toe pedal there. Let's everybody stand up and give this great performer a big standing ovation, if you will. One of the last times we may see this beautiful airplane in action. It will race before the weekend's over. It will do everything. Smoke and Thunder to Japan. Then again, for a return visit in November of 1993. And we're proud to say Smoke and Thunder was the first jet dragster to perform in the country of Japan. Okay, now Scott's taking his position on the runway. Flames coming out the rear of that Westinghouse engine, 10,000 horsepower. Speed to Scott. Scott says no. I'm going to carry the banner for Pepsi. Joanne says no. I'm going to carry the banner for Pepsi. If you saw the two races earlier, you know that they were close. This race is going to be history in just a few seconds. Joanne rolls upside down to try to intimidate Scott. He releases 10,000 horsepower. He's going to have to try to pass her up. Hello, Scott. Yes, another close race. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause. Yeah, copy. Whoa, I don't know how you feel. Now, with the shoulder rolls complete, watch for Joanne to dive down. She's looking for about 190 miles per hour entry speed. She'll be looping across the top, setting up for the next maneuver known as the torque roll. As the speed dissipates now, she starts earthward with the help of gravity, disappearing momentarily through her own smoke system, then picking up the horizon once again, and setting up for the tail slide maneuver. Now, out of this tail slide, she'll recover deliberately to the inverted or negative G environment. Point the nose of the aircraft straight up. The holder position, reviewing the top of the top wing. Speed will go to 0, now shift into reverse.
Something like that.
Back up on the tail. Now, on the descent, we will deliberately hold the aircraft to the inverted flight position. Now she comes back in upside down. This next maneuver has been named by Joanne to provide a little fun for air show audiences. This is the candy cane. The wingtip smoke has been ignited, and there you have the candy cane in the sky. Off to your left now, Joanne rolls the Pepsi Ultimate Biplane to the inverted flight position. To gain altitude this time now, she must push forward on the stick. All of the gravity forces trying to force her out of the cockpit, held in by a double set of lap belts and a set of shoulder harnesses that are digging into her shoulders as we speak. Joanne to pull to the vertical right in here and start a series of snap rolls the hard way, defying gravity straight up. Joanne's been flying for 26 years. Currently holds the world record, 208 outside and consecutive loops, as well as the record for the longest distance deliberately flying upside down. A distance of 658 miles, done in 4 hours, 38 minutes, and 10 seconds. To the air show site of Vanderbilt, British Columbia. And believe me, this wasn't easy. It was only accomplished on her second attempt. First the maneuver where the aircraft gets into a gyroscopic arena and actually does a tumble rather than roll, tumbling end over end, nose over tail. First one was for the folks down in the pits and all of our racers and race crews. This one is for the folks at the start-finish pylon as he sets up with a tumble once again. Rides through it. She becomes a passenger rather than a pilot until all of the momentum stops and takes over again. Looks at her relative position and tries it one more time. Now direct your attention down to the start-finish pylon, if you will. You'll see crew members down there with some activity going on. Crew members have a couple of poles that they're holding up. And between the poles are sets of ribbons, a top set and a bottom set. Joanne is going to try to clip the bottom one without hitting the top one. If she is successful in missing the top one on the first pass and getting the bottom one, she'll then come back and annihilate the ribbon on the top. Now the intimidation here on missing that top ribbon is the fact that you're sandwiched between the short distance. And in the next 60 seconds, she is going to try to get both ribbons at the same time. Okay, rolling upside down now. She's got a bead on both the ribbons, descending that final few inches, and gets the ribbons clean. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Joanne Osterud and the oath of a Pepsi biplane special. Hats off, please. All right, and a great job. The high rollers, F4s from the Reno Cannon Airport coming by right on cue as usual.
Asked him how long he was going to keep doing it. He's, well, I'll make a decision after the next 31 years. Ladies and gentlemen, nice round of applause. Your race announcer, Mr. Sandy Sanders. All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Air Race fans. And let's give a big wave up there to the KC 35. Now, the next...
They're also scuba divers. These gentlemen train constantly to do their job. They have to be in peak physical condition. If you see 4 parachutes above. The top one is Chief Mike McManus, the blue chute. Chief Mike McManus is 52 years old. He is the oldest active pararescueman in the Air Force. He is also the only Chief Master Sergeant still active in the pararescue system. This gentleman at 52 can run 30 miles in the Canadian Ironman competition like that. So this can be a dangerous weapon when it gets down to the ground. Lupinski and Skip Kula. So they'll be landing out there in that softer area in the infield.
The hammerhead, sometimes called the stall turn. She'll pull the stick back into her lap, pulling 4G. 4 times thrown body weight of 115 pounds. She'll take the airplane up to absolute 0 airspeed. She can full left rudder, and just at the right moment applies full opposite the aileron. Let me mention here, Julie's airplane, unlike others you will see performed today, was never designed for air show use. It has no inverted fuel or oil systems, so inverted flight is limited to momentary timing. While fully capable of aerobatics, it is much larger and heavier than most air show airplanes. It demands always constant concentration. Now, she's setting up for a maneuver known as the Cuban 8. She pulls up into a 5G loop. As she comes over the top, stops the loop by pushing the stick forward, establishing a 45-degree dive. Here she executes a half roll. Her airspeed then builds in the dive, giving her aircraft the energy it needs to execute another 5G loop. As she pulls back the stick into her lap, she will complete another half roll, stop on the 45-degree down line, roll the aircraft to the right side up position, and complete the second half of the Cuban 8. Now she completes the Cuban 8. She'll be pulling up with a 45-degree angle again. This time holds it just for a moment before she'll roll the aircraft to the inverted flight position. She will now set up for a maneuver known as the reverse Cuban 8, which not only directs her right back to show center, but also sets her up nicely. A lot of airspeed for the difficult 4-point hesitation roll. As she comes back in with the speed and the positioning she needs, watch for the nose to come up, and we'll count the points. There's number 1 in a knife edge flight and holds it there momentarily. 2 upside down, holds that position. 3 in a knife edge flight, and 4 back to upright.
Guys, gotta stick together. We're gonna
I think so, Delly. I saw your last work, and it was worthy of an Academy Award.
But you were right behind you there, Danny. Hey, you know what, Danny? All seriousness aside here, I want to tell you about my next maneuver. And first of all, I want to welcome everyone here to the 31st annual Reno Championship Air Races. The most
Yes, I agree with you. A big round of applause for the great Clark. Now, the inverted flight position. Passenger landing gear. Now preparing for the landing. Let me tell you more about Captain Julie Clark. Captain for Northwest Airlines. In 1976, she became one of the first women in the United States to fly for a major airline. Julie has flown an average of 20 to 25 air shows each year and performed in front of millions of people. She has appeared at some of the biggest air shows in the United States, Canada, and on the island of Bermuda. Julie has been recognized by the Federal Aviation Administration, which awarded her the prestigious Certificate of Appreciation for her many accomplishments. These include outstanding contribution of professional women in aviation, contribution of preservation of military aircraft, and contribution to women pioneers in aviation. She has accumulated over 19,000 flying hours and has flown 65 different types of aircraft, including hot air balloons, gliders, World War II B-17s, and DBY seaplanes. She commutes regularly from her home in California to Minneapolis for her scheduled airline flight. Well, everybody wave if you will. There are the stars and stripes out of the cockpit of that big Air Force One. Well, a big round of applause, if you will, to this proud American and good.
My dad was so much. Just under 250 miles an hour. My dad knocked me down on the motorbike. Speeds up to 100 miles an hour back. Maneuver my dad called son of a maneuver my dad named after Wayne Edwin Hampton.
Johnny Tucker dedicated to his family, Eric, Sarah, daughter, and his wife Colleen. This maneuver off to the right is called, appropriately enough, the Tucker cover. Transitioning out of that maneuver. Get ready for this with your eyes and your camera. Vertical. Set up for the double hammerhead turn, spinning around not once out of the hammerhead, but twice. Only today you will see this maneuver. There's the vertical slide. Now he'll kick it over once. Watch this. Around one. Let's try it one more time. And all the way around to the double hammerhead. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Sean D. Tucker and the 1-800 Collect Challenge. Now, Eric, tell us about the next maneuver.
My dad named after, he named it the Air Tucker because that's all I can say about it.
Okay, now Sean comes in from the right. He's going to wind up the aircraft with a series of snap rolls to the right. And with the aircraft wound up real tight, and then unwind the aircraft in the direction. By the way, now, before the triple ribbon cut, watch for the maneuver known as the flip down. Dedicated to our friends at Pepsi-Cola. And then a series of inside snap rolls on the 45-degree down line.
Snap rolls on the down.
On the pole and the ribbon, there's one to the left of the start-finish pylon, one at about the start-finish pylon, and one to the right of the...
Ready to watch the ribbon and the 1-800 collect challenger. Now he rolls in the right knife edge position. Ribbon number 2 into inverted. Let's see if we can get it. 1, 2 through 3. Let's hear from my dad, Sean D. Tucker. Triple ribbon cut.
Now transitioning into an outside loop. All November outside loop. All the way around in the negative key environment, straining against the shoulder harnesses and a double set of safety belts around the left.
Always in the hard way.
Always doing it the hard way. Now, Sean comes back in. He's going to be setting up and showing you the great performance that has been introduced into the Challenger by Tom Duggar, Director of Aeronautical Engineering and Modification Specialist of the 1-800 Collect Challenger, as Sean said, up on the Randolph flight. And now he goes directly in. 360-degree flat turn.
Most of you out there think you have to bank an airplane. My dad finds out it.
All you need is a Lycoming engine modified by Lycon and a U.S. propeller and airflow performance, and you can do the same thing with your aircraft.
Y'all can see the dial.
Peanuts! Water! Now, here, set us up for the last pass of the day. Donuts!
My dad would like to dedicate to all the pilots of the AB-8B Harrier. My dad's version of the Harrier jet.
Oh, this is the good one. Big picture.
In the air show in Santa Maria, my dad had the airplane stop. Now we want to give my dad wave. Wave a hat, a programmer, and he's looking for you at the bottom of that airplane. Does he like to
People roll the airplane once, all the way around. Now as he approaches a zero airspeed situation, he will pull back on the stick. Juan will be putting the airplane through a series of aerobatic maneuvers as he does his demonstration. This airplane also, ladies and gentlemen, all by itself is worth the price of admission to go down here to the pit and see. It's one of the most beautifully restored Corsairs in the world today. The Corsair enjoyed one of the finest combat records in World War II. It had a kill ratio of 11 to 1, which means that for every Corsair that was shot down, there were 11 enemy fighters shot down.
Happy boy. Happy boy did his job.
Coming down the chute on the left side of the viewing area. On a look at the instruments. The speeds are right. The airspeed increases rapidly to bring the airplane down within 50 feet of the ground. And show center. Carries about 3 times the weight of flying to the vertical. The Corsair saw most of his combat time in the Pacific. Carrier-based airplanes. All the bigger carriers during World War II. Creed Corsair down the air show center. Point one more time. The airspeed building rapidly. Across the air show center, he does have the energy he needs for his next. So he went up to for some high power settings, and they gave him permission to take off with the unlimited climb class that will be running. Now, in that unlimited climb class will be number 13 from Austin, Texas. And of course, he's in that big white, blue with red trim. It's the Lockheed P-38. Race number 13, White Lightning is its name. Lefty Gardner. And in number 49, the runoff winner of the Santa Ana Museum of Flying contest started 2 years ago. 1 year ago. With Miss America being the airplane, and then changed, of course, after the winner was picked. That winner is now here and flying. He flew yesterday. He is at number 68 from Mount Shasta, California, flying a silver with a red nose. He calls it a plain Jane. John Hurley, race 68 in his plain Jane B-51. Let's take a few moments now, if we can, please, to let everybody give Von Olsen a nice big wave out there. And that beautiful old bent wing bird, the carrier-based airplane that was, of course, so many stories about this airplane. With the duo and the Papa Black Sheep, remember Pappy Boynton. And, of course, carrier-based airplane. There's Von's way of saying hello from Texas. He folds those wings
hands up, both hands up in the air. His way of saying thank you. You know, last year he flew, and as he finished his act on the last day, he just said, that's all, I quit, I don't want to go anymore. And that's received on the ramp. So he had to come back here for the airplane, take it home, and come back to the pier. So we see a good shape now. All right, our members behind the hill. After the airplane is supposed to be the old Barnall racer that Bob Love flew here for the first time ever at Reno in 1964. So now the Unlimited comes back from behind the hill. They'll be on us here in just a moment. And number 38 goes. Lefty Gardner leading the pack. All right, well, he's an easy one to follow. Picking up the rest of the airplanes down below. We see that silver airplane. There he comes.
Your $5, your $50, your $500 will count. This is as much about you and I as it is about Mr. Hoover. In this case, however, Mr. Hoover is carrying the banner for us. He is standing tall for the rest of us, ready to help make it a long-awaited chase to the aspects that I mentioned to you before. Now, with your pens and pencils ready, would you copy this down, please? This is very important. I will give you the address to where to send your check to get on board. Write this down now, if you will. The Friends of Bob Hoover.
You know, tonight will be the annual Formula One, their own banquet party. They always feature a banquet party here on Saturday evening. And they will sell tickets to anyone interested enough fans and new fans alike who would like to come down. It will be held, of course, at Formula One hangar. There is going to be a live band that starts at 6 o'clock, and it is $7 donation per person. So if you'd like to go down and join the Formula One people, and then the Formula One here in, those people are and have been sincerely a great for us when we get in.
CI Marquetti F260s. The lead airplane on F260W. 230 horsepower engine. Number 2 is the free airplane, the F260Ns, which is the models by the Sierra, of course. They have 340 horsepower engine.
Water, soda, peanuts, Snapple.
Chuck Fletcher in the lead airplane, Barney Register in the number 2 airplane. Jerry Cannon in number 3. The airplane you will take the fighter combat flight will be the number 2 and 3 airplanes. The more powerful ones, the 340 horsepower CI Marquettis. Now, we told you we would have several Kodak moments throughout the day, ladies and gentlemen. I would suggest you get the cameras out, point them right toward the air show center point, right to the start-finish pylon. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, Team America. Chuck Lisher, Barney Register, and Jerry Caddick. Now let's watch the airplanes will go into some individual maneuvers. With Chuck Lisher and Barney Register on the right and the left edge up to our viewing area, we will watch as they will both go into the vertical and execute simultaneous hammerhead turns. Right at the top, when the airplane is ready to quit flying, they'll push me and they will start watching for each other. They cannot see each other at this particular point. They can only see the smoke trail. That little airplane will only be inspecting the other airplane's windshield until right about this point here, they'll pick each other up. And they're going to be crossing at show center with a crossing speed of over 400 miles per hour. And as they break at show center in the cross roll, the 2 airplanes with the smoke trail still streaming will go into a join-up and we'll look for Jerry Caddick high end to our left. Jerry will first locate his mate and then he will turn on his smoke indicating he has them in sight and will be starting his roll in. Chuck Lisher, the leader of the formation, who lives on an airport in Cameron Park, California. He founded the team back in 1984. Chuck is a graduate of San Diego State University and holds FAA commercial instrument flight craft. Let's look low way to the left now as Jerry Caddick is rolling in for a series of vertical rolls. And at show center, up into the air we go, straight up with the airplane rolling. All right, lights over the top here. We'll pull back now. He's about 4,000 feet above the on the way down. Now let's watch for a series of step rolls. All right, the 1.5 step roll. Jerry Caddick, now our number 3 pilot. Jerry lives in an hour 220. The nose comes up here and rolls the airplane to the inverted position as he flies the crowd line upside down. Let's watch now as Jerry will execute 1/4 of the roll and he will push negative now to do an outside roll to our left. Now let's look straight ahead. We have number 1, 2 airplanes. There is Chuck Lisher and Barney Register. Next moment. Chuck goes for the smoke on now. The 2 CI Marquettis will oppose each other now. They go over the top in the inverted position. Watch that smoke trail. Team America would like to show all of you people how much they love being here at Reno for the National Championship Air Races. Ladies and gentlemen, this heart in the sky is for all of the Student Pilot of the Year award. He's been a crop duster for over 20 years and been with Team America since 1986. Watch now as the smoke trails of Chuck and Barney. They will execute 1/2 of human aid maneuver, 1.5 snap rolls on the way down, and at show center again they will cross at a closing speed of over 400 miles per hour. One and 2 airplanes exit straight away from us. We'll look for number 3 airplane. This is Jerry Caddick now coming in from the left. Now Jerry has the option of 2 maneuvers on this pass. Let's watch. We may see the top hand or we may see the loop with the snap roll on the top. It looks from the way he is pulled up that this is going to be the loop with the snap. But it's called the avalanche. And yes, it is. Yes, it is. And now as Jerry comes down, let's watch for our number 1 and number 2 airplanes. Chuck Lisher and Barney Register again will approach each other 400 miles of the loop. That'll put the airplane going to 45 degrees at the down line. 45 degrees toward that runway. Now they're on the airplane to the upright position. You'll notice some very slight wind corrections. These are done to keep the airplane right on our viewing stage. And as they cross once more, right in front of us, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Team America. Kennedy, the 25 different foreign countries, both as a trainer and as an attack bomber. The airplane can actually be fitted with releasable fuel tanks, rockets, launchers, gun pods, bombs, flare dispensers, recon pads, and sea rescue packs. Yes, folks, this is the airplane you can have the opportunity to take a fighter combat flight in. Now we see the difficult maneuver. Bringing the airplanes back into formation. We'll be a little quiet in here. Go back to the cockpit and listen to the competition. These famous calls, which I'll finish with now. Team America has performed for over 18 million live views. They do approximately 2.5 million live audience per year.
Hey, where do you find that?
Look behind the airplanes at the smoke trail, you see the little bumpy up there.
Go downstairs, go to the headquarters in front of G. Okay. I walked there. Yeah, we got to get those things squared up. Now he's going to look at it. John will be back. Yeah, I was just like, I'm watching you come out down there looking for you.
Each member of this team will travel about 50,000 miles per year. It's not even performed in the United States, but in 4 Canadian provinces, Bermuda, Puerto Rico, and Mexico.
Yeah.
All right, Chuck Fisher has set the vertical burst maneuver.
And stay there, John, because if he comes back here, I'll send him there.
Gentlemen, remember, don't need to run
Headquarters.
building. We have a lot of it available here at the Reno Air
Go
Races.
to section G,
Watch
to
now,
headquarters.
All right, there they are in the vertical burst, ladies and gentlemen. Chuck Fisher will execute the loop right at show center. Watch as the number 2 and 3 airplanes now that will be party registered and Jerry Caddick will set out to come into on. The airspeed is building very rapidly. They will approach a speed of close to 250 miles an hour or more on this pass. Now they've picked up their wingmen. They have already determined which side is on. And it shows center again, ladies and gentlemen, your Team America. Now, this is going to be one of the most difficult maneuvers. They are going to come on from our right. We'll watch now as Chuck will bring the airplanes into trail formation, which means the airplanes will be 1, 2, 3 behind each other. On the right side of our viewing stage, Chuck will pull the formation up into the vertical and he will execute a barrel roll, a big outside of the barnstormer's loop. On the right side of the viewing area, they will come through show center and do one more loop on the left side. Now, during these 2 loops, they will try to bring Team America from the in-trail formation back to the V formation. This will be where the horsepower difference in the airplanes will come into play. Chuck will be able to lead his airplane, the 260 horsepower model, at full power, and yet Barney and Jerry will still have additional horsepower available to them to catch him and join into the V formation. Let's watch now from the right. All right, broadcast told us he's pulling up in the vertical. Now we see they are in trail. Will they be able to catch him? Will they be able to join into the V formation prior to completing 2 loops? All right, Jerry and Barney pushing those throttles forward to catch up with Chuck. It looks like we're going to make it. As a matter of fact, we may get it done before we even start into the second loop. All right, one airplane is in position. The next airplane is coming in, and we are going to get all 3 airplanes into the V. And play through the second loop. Ladies and gentlemen, it seems so good spinning the entire country after them. Your Team America.
Nipple. Iced tea. Water. Soda.
Now as Chuck will lead the
Nipple.
formation off to the west, they'll
Iced
come
tea.
back for one more passing review. They will call it the photo pass, and we'll tell you a little more about this opportunity to be a fighter pilot. After the show today, you can do it that soon, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot get in the pit. We will arrange to have Barney or Jerry come to the pit gate to talk to you, give you more information about it. Same as I took one of these rides the other day. I shot him down once, he shot me down once. I won't tell you how it came out, 2 out of 3, but it was an awful lot of fun. Ladies and gentlemen, the photo pass, Team America. Is it going to be extravagant, or is it going to be a little cautious and maybe slow down? Well, we're going to see. Third lap turn 388. We now have a 12-second and 31/100 distance between. What's going on around is Howard Pardue from Breckenridge, Texas. And the next lap around for Miss America will be the white flag showing. 14, James Lacey tipping up. We sure did. Run it Dennis Sanders. But Howard Pardue may be going to be short towards that on this way around here. Let's just know that Howard may do right here, right on the tail. White flag. That's the call. Checkered flag. All right, folks, we have some good news for you. We've been plugging these sponsors, been talking all day, so we're going to give you people about a 2 or 3 minute break from the announcing stand. Hey, listen, if that's all the happy you are about it, we're going to go into more commercials. You want a break or not? That's a little better. Okay, we're going to catch our breath up here and allow you folks to rest your ears for just a couple of minutes. But as Arnold said, I'll be back.
Ice cold soda, ice cold water.
All right, time's up. All right, roll into the left, ladies and gentlemen, on the takeoff roll. From our neighbors up to the north, the CF5A. Make them the largest flying squadron in the Canadian Armed Forces. Now the first pass we're going to get from the Freedom Fighters, a high-speed pass. This airplane will be coming by at over 600 miles per hour. 23 per second. As fast as any airplane in the world. The 419 Squadron was initially formed during World War II on December 14, 1941, and built in the Hull Air Base, which is in England, just north of London. They were the first Royal Canadian Air Force Squadron to be acquired by a No. 3 group of the Royal Air Force Bomber Command. They picked up the nickname of the Moose Squadron. That nickname has stuck with them to this day. They first started out flying the Wellington bomber. They progressed from this to the Halifax bomber and eventually to the classic Avro Lancaster. That squadron flew a total of 4,325 operational sorties during the war, from Mannheim to Nuremberg, Milan to Berlin, and Munich to Hanover. As a result of their wartime record, they became one of the most decorated units of the Royal Canadian Air Force. Now, he brings the airplane by at high-pitch delay. And the time he started on the left-hand viewing area to the right, he lost about 100 knots of airspeed, and that's because there's so much energy stored flying in high pitch.
Beatty's going to put the airplane into a full afterburner tight G turn. Now, during this maneuver, he will weigh 6 times his normal weight, so we take a 150-pound pilot. Right now, there would be 900 pounds of force pushing him down into the bottom of the seat. The reason we do this, as our F-15 pilot said, if you can't turn tight, you can't fight. And this is why this is one of the most important maneuvers to see an airplane do before we fly it as a fighter.
Let's see what it.
Back in December of 1962, once again, they disbanded the squadron. And in 1975, on November 1st, they were officially returned to active duty and redesignated the 419 Tactical Fighter Training Squadron. That is the designation and mission they hold to this day. Let's watch now as Beatty will bring the airplane in from the left, and he will show us the rapid roll rate as he will execute the crisp 4-point hesitation roll. He'll roll it into knife edge, put it upside down at show center, back to knife edge as he departs from the right, and then back to the upright position. How a nice round of applause for our neighbors to the north, ladies and gentlemen, representing the Royal Canadian Air Force. The CF5 ladies hopefully get them wrong. Beatty. Easy, but here's how it's tough. Pilot has to start and end at the same altitude and airspeed, right at show center. And to maintain safe. All right, let's watch now as Beatty will pull up 7 times. He's executing a series of rolls as he climbs up, and folks, I gotta tell you, that is just about as fast, not quite, just about as fast as the F-15 will do it. Not at an air show, folks. Out there, that was your winner of the last 86 raffle. And remember, only 2 more races to go now because Ron is already so tomorrow, the silver and the gold. 2 more chances for you to buy tickets. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to talk about a who's who of aerobatic pilots in the world, all you have to do is look at your Reno Air Race program. We have the best of the best here this weekend. The man coming up is certainly no exception. We're going to go live to the cockpit and talk to him and go up there and see if Wayne is alive and well up in the cockpit. Wayne, are you with us?
Yes, sir. Reading you loud and clear. What do you think from up here? The most prominent landmark is down there.
Probably that F5 coming by. What do you think?
How about section 3 and that big splash of orange? Another spot that I'd like to mention is triple navigation that gets me here. I'm pulling up now. I'm a little higher than normal. Let's see how many times.
We're looking at about a 1 mile long inverted flat spin there. Wayne, how do you think it up there?
Miserable. Given little extra today, I'm dedicating this spin to section 3 for being such a great air show now. Air show crew. All the fans that Reno are really the true air race and air show fans. Section 3 is just a little real special. Listen to them.
Okay, you got a hawk up there trying to join up with you in formation.
He must be a kamikaze breed, then, if he wants to join up on this mess.
See all these
Yeah, not particularly smart, is he?
Okay, I'm enjoying the throws of 1 3/4 negative G's as they come down through 4,000 feet, eagerly awaiting 2,000 feet, which is my recovery key.
All right, that maneuver is looking pretty good. As a matter of fact, as I look at it, it kind of looks like a pretty good description of my stock portfolio.
The old big launch spiral, I can relate to that.
Andy Sanders says it looks like his wine opener.
I realize he gets pretty deep every once in a while.
Yeah, if you look out the window, I think the little sagebrush has started to become a very big sagebrush. I'm glad you're pulling out.
Now, it's always really tumble low here. Lee Loudenslager asked me yesterday if it sounded like he was a little low on RPM. Now I see what he's talking about. I'm feeling that right now.
There, look at that.
Woo-wee!
Yes, that's what I wanted. Okay, we're doing a little smiling tower for a turnaround maneuver here. Full right rudder, full right forward stick, and around she goes.
And where she stops, nobody knows.
Switch rudder, pull the power back, and she goes into a little pirouette here.
Yeah, he's abused, eh?
Okay, now the chiropractor. I was talking to another fellow this morning, had a pinch riding nerve, and I recommended this to him, but he kind of turned his nose up at it.
Now we got a woolly bird down here running around in front of the box seats too. He's having a good time doing some.
That's complete stars.
Okay, I got the old vertebrae stretched out. Come down here and do a little turnaround maneuver, and we'll crank out some snap rolls on the 45 down line coming back.
All right, you've told us. Now we're going to be judging you. The pressure's on.
This is a good way to wind your watch.
I keep telling you, there are battery-powered watches on the market, Wayne.
That probably would be smart.
All right, I know what you're going to do after the show. You're going to go and get a little can of one of our sponsors and do what?
Flip that top right here.
Yeah, straight up like that.
That was the flip top?
I think it's a...
Man, 200 people took the cue. I heard those cans popping all over the grandstands.
Okay, we'll let the speed run up here. And when we hit 100 right there, we ended up into a nice soft little three-quarter loop. And I do mean soft.
Yeah, well, I tell you, it looks like some of the parts might be coming loose up there. What do you do when all that happens and it starts getting a little shaky and rattly?
So I'll tell you, there's a little maneuver here to take care of that little problem. Now get lined up on the runway. I might make the pole holder duck a little bit. Just a ratchet roll. 1, stand forward, and 1 back. That feels better.
Oh, yeah, it looks better. That airplane looks much tighter now.
Okay, we're going to do a series of rolls here. We're going to come off the top to an outside 1.5 snap. Chiropractor didn't do that, did. Okay, one roll here. Snap it quarter back there. Good first for you. 1 3/4 out.
Now what would happen if you tried to do with the F-15 and the I got 1, I got 2, I got 2.3 lengths of the airplane. We'll round it off to 10.
Yeah, I'm going to try and get a few more lengths this time then. We're going to pull up and do the torque roll, and power might help me ease it down a little further backwards than that tail flight. Here we go.
He's going to keep on until he stalls.
Now left rudder going up and right rudder coming down.
Okay, I'm over the right side now. Like I said before, it's like backing up a set of doubles. Trying to get this thing balanced. And that's about all we're going to get.
Well, I'll tell you what, I got you about 3.6 lengths on that one. We'll round it off to 20.
I had all I wanted. Does that count?
And it worked for me. I remember going up with you last weekend, and I certainly want to thank you for the ride. A lot of fun, but I tell you, I couldn't do too many torque rolls in a row.
Here's 4 points up. We'll hang it here as long as we can and do another 4 on the way down.
Diet Pepsi, 7 Up. Don't have no lift. Diet Pepsi. what they call
Pepsi. And we're going to check out the brakes here. I'm going to pull it up and slide it to a halt. That's on my right brake there right now. Let's see if I can get it to stop. How we doing? Is that right brake smoking yet?
It's looking pretty good. Just came, oh boy, just in time. There was a cop at that intersection too. It's a good thing you stopped.
Okay, one more time here. I'm going to come around, pull her up, and we're going to do a hammerhead. And this time when we do 180, we'll see if we can tilt the nose back up to the vertical again.
All right, folks, this is a knock your socks off.
Hey, Pepsi, 7 Up!
Believe it.
Call the beans in the pot, get them all cooking here. Here we go.
Roll those cameras.
Now, here's the line. Let's come in with the input here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Barely made it.
Woo-wee.
Now they tell me you used to be an ag pilot. Is that right?
Once upon a time. Yeah, very enjoyable time, actually, for about 26 years worth. I'm going to take that background with my aerobatic background, and we call that acrobatics. You see the ribbon out here? That's my simulated power line. I'm going to drop down those power lines, turn the smoke on where I would normally be turning on the sprays of dust.
Okay, we see the ribbon being held out there between those two poles. Those two poles are Lou Kaczynski and Ray Dombrowski.
I can't believe you've got courage enough to do that 3 days in a row.
The only reason I can do that is because I'm Polish. They're all my cousins.
Okay, when we have room, we really prefer to go under the wire rather than over it. It's safer, easier, and we can do a cleaner job at the end of the field. There we go. Now, up and out, and you might say this is a little tongue-in-cheek, but we're going to do the inverted egg turn.
Well, I'll tell you, all those negative G's, I put my tongue all the way out through my right ear.
Actually, my tongue is flat against the top of my mouth.
pretty neat when it comes.
Okay, I've been showing you this hammerhead that ag pilots used to use. This is actually a Joanne Osterud hammerhead. Figure this one out.
I hope that's a compliment.
I think I might hear about that.
I bet money.
When we don't have room to make the 9270 ag turn, at the bottom of a box canyon, we'll do a loop turn like this. Under it, and then back under it. Okay, everything's looking good up here. I see the smoke from my previous maneuvers not going any place. And here is commitment time. Oh boy, this is looking like fun now.
I guess that's all a matter of perspective. Hey, ladies and gentlemen.
You know the difference between commitment and motivation?
Tell us.
I see that every time I come down the backside. When you're looking at your bacon and eggs in the morning, that chicken was motivated, the pig was committed. Now to slip in between those narrow trees where we can't go through wings level, we go to knife edge. The bird to you, Al.
All right, I got it, Wayne, and I'll tell you, when you're talking about narrow trees, you obviously don't play golf, because if you play golf, there are no narrow trees.
Come around now, we're going to get a little revenge. Line up, come around inverted, and we'll see if we can knock her down.
All right, folks, this is Wayne's way of paying back all those power lines he had to dodge during those years of...
Okay, I will not interfere with your microphone if you don't interfere with my flying. It's all yours.
Got it. I tell you what. All right, ladies and gentlemen, he's coming down within 10 feet of the runway now. He's got the runway in the windscreen, the ribbon in the windscreen. Will he get it? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, he's got it. With the cut, Wayne Handley on the ribbon. You got it, my man, as usual.
Okay, we'll swing around and we'll do a good check out here on my landing. I'll shoot a touch and go and then make sure the runway's really clear by looking under and to both sides, and then we'll get the bugs off.
Yeah, I noticed today those racers are nowhere near your landing roll.
They got more in there. They got a lot of...
Nice precision, straight in approach. Okay. Check it out here. Okay. Checking to the left, checking underneath, checking to the right. All's clear. Now we come down, we get the bugs off.
There's the bug flicker. Look at those bugs go.
And that spells Miller time.
All right, did you get the official speed of your trip around the pylons?
No, I didn't.
Well, here it is. Not bad. The first lap, 2:35.100. The second fourth.
A nice big wave out there to Wayne Hanley and the Raven as it goes by. The Hooey. Raven named the Hooey, okay. This is a new one for him, and I'm sure he's enjoying it. Jim Good from Casper, Wyoming, and the Wyoming Wildcatter. Race 77. Seems like somebody else got a 77 on their airplane. Maybe Jim Good thinks he's running that rare bear around there this afternoon.
In the inverted flight position. Now, here we go. With an outside or negative G, 5/8 of a loop. You'll set up for a series of right aileron roll, and then transition the opposite direction to a left inside snap roll. As promised across the top, let's try the 5/8 of a loop. That's there. There's the roll to the left, the snap roll. Now look at You'll execute a perfectly round inside of Barnstormer's loop. And from the inverted flight position or upside down, he will snap roll the aircraft, recover upside down once again. Gently pull back on the stick and complete the left side of the loop. Now horizontal roll, showing you the type of performance necessary in competition aircraft. Now he'll pull back on the stick and set up off on the right for a maneuver known as the wingtip pirouette.
I got some postcards.
On the way down, transitions into a spin, comes back in for a very crisp 4-point hesitation roll, done in the true style of competition. Perfectly. Okay, let's try it 1, 2, 3, 4. Now again, he'll transition with a half-Cuban 8 maneuver, 5/8 of a loop. And then he will execute a 1.5 turn outside or negative G snap from the inverted flight position. Let's try that. In the sky, the box being drawn by his white smoke. The bottom of the box is now complete. He will draw the right side of the box. The elevator. 2 sides of the box complete. He now flies flat and upside down across the top from the top of the box. And now the most difficult one, as he pulls back on the stick, the earth comes up to meet him. He holds the line as long as possible straight down, pulls back on the stick. Now immediately setting up for 1, 2, 3, and 4 points. Out of the 8-point hesitation roll, completely rolling the aircraft around. Establishing the vertical on the way up. Again, 1, 2, 3, and 4-point hesitation roll on the way up. And watch for the descent with a full snap on the down line. Now, we have seen the round loop, we have seen the square loop. This time, Leo's going to make things even more difficult with the 8-sided or octagon loop. The big stop sign in the sky, let's count the sides as he pulls back on the stick right here. That's number 1, he holds that line. Number 2, he holds that line. Number 3 is up on the 45-degree line. He holds that. 4 is flat across the top. 5 is down on the 45-degree line. 6 is straight down. The last 45 is number 7. 1 more for the stick, and the octagon loop is complete. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for your sky champion, Leo Nothenslager, the Bud Light 200. On the way up now, setting up for 2 points of a 4-point vertical roll. Now let's watch for a 2.5 turn snap roll immediately on the down line. Let's try that, Leo, right about in here. 1 and 2.5 to the upside down position. Now he finds himself upside down, setting up for that outside knife edge 360-degree circle. This is called the Iligua Circle, named after Daniel Iligua of the French Connection Aerobatic Team, a good friend to each and every air show performer. Now, out of that, he rolls the aircraft around, completely around once again, in a series of horizontal rolls. He will push out now, by pulling back on the stick off on the right. As he does, he'll be setting up for the next maneuver known as the Waldo Pepper outside loop. Onto the motion picture of the same name, The Great Waldo Pepper. The first military pilot to execute a negative video outside loop was Jimmy Doolittle in 1927 in Dayton, Ohio. The first civilian in 1932 in Los Angeles. An air show performer by the name of Fearless Freddie Lund. They'll roll down the inverted flight position and complete the right half of the loop in the positive G. Now, Leo comes back from your left. He's going to execute my favorite maneuver. It's called the computer roll. As he comes back in straight level, he will first execute a double snap roll to the right, then immediately a full roll to the left, then immediately a half roll to the right, then immediately a half outside snap roll to the left, then immediately a three-quarter roll to the right, and a three-quarter outside snap on one pass. Impossible, you say? Watch this. Okay, let's set it up. Let's go. Two snap rolls to the right. Okay, how about a full roll to the left immediately? How about a half roll to the right immediately? How about a half outside snap immediately? A three-quarter roll to the right immediately, and a three-quarter outside snap. Ladies and gentlemen, he did it. A big round of applause for Leo and a very difficult computer roll. Man, I'm tired. Okay, now let's get ready for Leo to set up in the inverted flight position once again as he comes back in. He'll be setting up for the torque roll maneuver. As he gets to the start-finish byline, he'll pull back on the stick. He'll start to establish a vertical roll. The speed will dissipate from 200 to 100 to 50 to 40, 30, 20, 10, 0. Now he starts backwards at minus 10, minus 20, minus 30, minus 40, disappearing momentarily, and saying wisely enough, that's enough of that. Off on the left now, things look good. We'll get a vertical up, three-quarter roll to the left. That will have him out of position to stay in line with the spectator line and the runway. Pushing forward on the stick now, he'll be setting up across the top for the next maneuver, known as the Cobra Roll, invented by Hollywood stunt pilot Frank Clark. He'll depict the Cobra snake in the sky about ready to strike. So right about in here, Leo, let's pull back to the stick. Now let's push forward. Now let's pull back. Now let's push forward. Now into the snap roll as the Cobra gets ready to strike. 1, number 2, number 3, and holds it in there wisely at 3. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the Cobra roll in out of position, so he's going to have to quarter roll the aircraft to stay in line with the runway.
Your brother, went to school and all that. He'd like to get it.
Okay, now because of the great technology he has built into the Bud Light 200, this next maneuver will be possible. He's going to execute a loop. He'll snap roll the aircraft right about in here and fly the top of the loop in 9-pitch flight. Continuing on the aircraft, he'll transition into a quarter turn and complete the loop with a snap roll on top. Now he'll position himself off to the left once again. Now just because Leo is sitting down doesn't mean it is an easy or a free ride. We will be talking to him momentarily and you will find him very short of breath. Ladies and gentlemen, this is pure work. And don't think this man has reduced his edge since he has retired from competition. He is as intense now, perhaps even more, than he was during his competition days. Now again, the great technology that he built into the aircraft will allow him to do this maneuver. It's called a sectional hammerhead. He shows you the top of the top wing and kicks the rudder right about in here. That's the first kick, number 2 right about in here, number 3, one more kick of the rudder, number 4, a quarter turn to the left, and the sectional hammerhead is now complete. Okay, now once again, defying gravity, Leo's going to be drawing up the figure S in the sky, but done the hard way, defying gravity from the ground up. And again, it's only the technology of state-of-the-art competition aircraft will allow a pilot to be able to do this. So right now off the deck, he draws the S the hard way from the ground up. Bottom of the S complete. Now he's going to push forward on the stick very gently so he doesn't bleed off too much speed. He knows every knot of flying speed on this aircraft. Still climbing. Way still flying, not stalled yet, and he flies away from the S. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for Leo. Okay, now we're going to get ready for that dedication. Watch each wingtip now as he will ignite those red smoke canisters and set up for his next specialty maneuver. As he does, we'll go directly to the cockpit and talk to the man. Wood airplane in a windstorm. Ladies and gentlemen, you rode through it. How about a big round of applause for Leo? And they give it their best lumps. Okay, now direct your attention again out on that hard surface taxiway that is perpendicular to our main runway. There you'll see crew members in position with a set of poles. The poles only about 2 feet wider than the wingspan of the Bud Light 200. And as Leo positions and takes an inspection look at that set of poles and that ribbon, we would like to thank Maury Distributing. They are the folks that have provided you here in this area on your visit a great taste of the Anheuser-Busch products. And for the folks that live here day in and day out, they provide the great taste of Anheuser-Busch products at your favorite stores, your corner stores, your outlets, and your grocery markets, as well as your favorite bar and restaurant. Thank you, Maury. Okay, here comes Leo, upside down, bearing in on that ribbon, lowering the altitude, taking the elevator ride down. Look at the rudder just above the hard surface, and he nails everyone, and snap rolls into knife edge flight once again, as nobody else does. Well, we'll tell you a little bit more about this great man as he gets ready to set up for the fun portion of his flight. Now, Leo, believe it or not, is set up for the landing. To his friends for many years, he's known as the Looper. Everybody wave to Leo as he makes his way by, upside down, and wagging his wings. That's Leo's great salute to all of you great folks, and this was a place for the inspiration for him to become the best aerobatic pilot in the world. Merely by watching Mr. Bob Hoover and Mr. Dwayne Cole, he found the courage, strength, and commitment to say someday I will be that good. And he did it with their blessing and their help and their constant encouragement from that day to this. Both those gentlemen still fond of the great Leo Mountainslager each and every day. A great example to pilots young and old. Okay, now Leo's set up for the landing. Well, he's upside down and going the wrong way. That's why he got the nickname the Looper. Still on final approach now, pointing straight down with a lot of speed. Far too much speed, you say, to settle down. Well, remember the takeoff? Well, watch this landing. We'll dissipate some of that speed a little bit by rolling. A lot of the runway going down behind him into knife edge flight. This maneuver known as the side slip maneuver. Now he likes to use that 17.5 feet down at the end, the part that nobody else uses, and touches down on a 3-point landing with a feather touch. Yes, go ahead, let it out for Leo Mountainslager. Back to you.
Thank you, Danny. That was great climbing up for a little injected into the hot exhaust, which allows us to see the airplane a little bit better. Greg will pull up at show center, doing a series of rolls up into the vertical. All right there at the top now, the airspeed is pushing 0. He's going to keep rotating. He's going to execute the torque roll. Still turning. It's 2 lengths of the airplane. Takes over, and the runway starts becoming very big, very fast. Greg pulls out about 4 times the weight of his body on that pull-out to execute completely to the left. Now, to the left of our stage. Greg will come up over the top again. Right there, he is in inverted position. Holding the airplane down, upside down. Let's watch now as Greg rolls it back to the right. Now back to the inverted one more time. Inverted roll. Notice how he pans right through show center, right halfway through the maneuver. Okay, on the right edge now. Come back down toward the ground. Looking for the airspeed for the next maneuver. This is a maneuver which is called the split end. We're going to do half of a loop. Right where the top. You roll the airplane upright to invert, to upright to inverted again. Finishing out that half of a loop. We'll finish the other half of a loop on the down line. On the left side now again, Greg up into the vertical looking for a turnaround maneuver. Pilots have lots of options on turnaround maneuvers. Greg likes to roll the airplane upside down and pull back on the stick. Looks over his shoulder now, picks up the show line reference. As we look behind and look at the smoke trail, it looks like the air has calmed down a little bit, so we don't have quite the turbulence up there for our performers that we have had a little bit earlier in the day. coming through the center point of the air show line again. Ready to go back on the stick. He looks at the airspeed. One quick glance at the engine instruments. The scout motor laser now comes up over the top. On a 45-degree downline, he will execute 2 points of the 4-point hesitation roll. Now, as soon as he gets within 20 feet of the ground, he will pull back on the stick again and come up over the top. We'll do the mirror image of this maneuver. We told you about it just a little bit earlier. Called the Cuban 8. The smoke trail looks strong, a big rate on its side in the sky. Now we'll look for another quick turnaround maneuver on the right edge of the viewing stage. We'll watch for Greg to do a hammerhead turn. Now those do the eagle eyes. Watch right as the airspeed gets to 0. Watch for full left rudder. And if you're really sharp, you can see the right aileron. He will rotate the Scout Motors laser around the left wingtip and execute the hammerhead turn. Greg will now set up for a maneuver called the square loop. On this maneuver, he will change pitch direction 4 times, 90 degrees each time. Next watch now, he'll pull back and get about 4 times his body weight. Right, straight up into the vertical now. He will go. He will draw the second side of the square. Up over the top he will come now, and here he will need all of the power of the laser to keep the airplane going, because the airspeed on this corner drops way down to just about 90 miles per hour. All right, he comes over the top. That's the third side. What's that vertical line on there? Finishes off at the bottom of the square loop. Ladies and gentlemen, Greg McKenzie. There he is on the 45-degree downline. You roll the airplane right side up. Checks the airspeed, looks for the proper speed for his entry into the next maneuver. He's going to do the 8-point hesitation roll, pausing the airplane at each 45 degrees of bank, giving him a chance to have a good look at the Greg McKenzie Scott Motor. It's known as Old Reno, number 3. These and over 200 antique, vintage, and classic cars are on display every day at the Car Museum at Lake and Mill in downtown Reno. And now if you will look to the right, ladies and gentlemen, a flight of T. They're from right down the road in Carson City. This and another Kodak moment will be brought to you throughout the day through the courtesy of the Kodak people. And we do have film available should you run out at any time throughout the day. Several Kodak booths located throughout the area. Now, if you look, the red airplane is in the lead. Flying formation is very, very tough. Who must have come out here before the sun came up because he left his lights on. It's a GMC pickup truck with Nevada plates. 698 FNM is in Foxtrot, November, Mike. GMC pickup truck, you left your lights on. But you do get the Air Show Award of the day. Big fan of the day. You don't go turn your lights off. I have a set of jumper kit line. That airplane he calls the Kit Fox. An airplane that you and I could own and build. Jimmy Franklin, of course, who flies the Waco Mystery Ship. We also have the Cinema 600 here. But this airplane he is demonstrating for us is an airplane that you can build and put in your garage.
Well, it is the Kit Fox, and it is being flown by Jimmy Franklin. And as he puts the aircraft through its paces, it's important for you to know that there are no modifications on this aircraft other than the smoke system. You can make the dream of flying a reality if you do it with great economy as well with this Kit Fox home-built aircraft. Now the parts come to your home all prefabricated. The welding is done. The parts are pre-formed for the wings. The sheet metal is pre-cut. Every nut, bolt, washer, and cotter key comes marked and categorized in the kit as well. You put it together, you do about 51% of the work. What you have when you're finished is a completed aircraft that will remind you of the great classics like the J3 Cub, the Aranca Champ, and the T-Craft. Here are the special features of this aircraft that can have you flying, and flying with a great deal of fun on an economical basis. The wings fold up in about 4 minutes. Now what's that mean to you? Well, it means you don't have to pay for expensive hangar rent. You can tow the airplane out to any airport in your community. Unfold the wings, go fly. Fold the wings up, take the airplane back to your shop, your pole barn, your garage, or your driveway. That eliminates hangar rent. When you fly the airplane, you'll be able to use unleaded automobile fuel, which is quite a bit less expensive than aviation fuel. Now, you're not burning much of that either with that 80 horsepower engine. It has a tremendous amount of room inside. Jimmy Franklin's in the cockpit now. He's about 6'6", and he has absolutely no problem with room in the cockpit. In fact, there is room for another individual of Jimmy's size, another 6'6" individual without crowding. Now, it has large tires to allow for off-airport landings, an option of 2 engines, low fuel burn, and the economy of using auto fuel, and the fun to be able to fly like this. You can go up to a safe altitude because we can't all fly aerobatics as well as Jimmy Franklin. You can go up to a couple of thousand feet, do a little bit of aerobatics, check out the countryside, fold up the wings when you get done, tow the airplane home, and you will have had a great day of fun flying without it costing you an arm and a leg. And that's the beauty of this aircraft. It is the kit box. It is being offered in many of the aviation magazines in classified and display ads. You can send for their brochures, and you can be flying one of the great classics in just a short time with very little expense. And by the way, don't be afraid of that tail wheel. If you're not a tail dragger pilot, not to worry. You can transition into the world of tail wheel flying in a very short time with very little transitional problem. Jimmy's showing you the great agility of the aircraft. It does use state-of-the-art components, so while it is very light, it's very strong because of the composite material. A great deal of fun flying with this airplane known as the kit box. Also, you don't need a tremendous amount of room. Say you have a little bit of property behind your ranch or your farm or your country home. You'd be off the ground in about 75 to 100 feet, so you don't need long concrete runways like we have here. Instead, very short landing roll and a very short takeoff roll allow you to operate off a very small field, perhaps a field you may own personally. The aircraft is the kit box. It's offered from the Kit Box factory at Nampa Airport in Nampa, Idaho. Check it out. Send for their brochure, their information package, or their videotape, and you can be flying like Jimmy Franklin in the Kit Box as soon as the aircraft is together. Flying will be a reality. The Kit Box and Jimmy Franklin.
Ladies and gentlemen, as in all years past since 1985, Tamarack Studios, better known as Skyfire, has been videotaping each and every Reno classic. And when we get Jimmy here center stage, let's do our parts as air race fans and air show people and give him a nice big wave out there to Jimmy Franklin. He's a busy guy. He's going to go right down there, jump out of that, and get one of them black walkos. But Skyfire does do a great job of recording for posterity, for your pleasure as race fans, this 1994 Reno Air Race. And as we speak, it is being filmed right now. But one of the other items I think you will be interested in at the Skyfire studio is that they have a t-shirt. The first place airplane of Hep Porter and Carl Swenson right now, as he gets a bead on him. Start finish line is still Hep Porter. And then Carl Swenson, there goes number 42 and Mick Richardson, number 30, in the shoestring in the end of the pack. Coming around now, it's Bohannon as he overhauls at number 77. You're looking at an airplane, ladies and gentlemen, that in Oshkosh this year broke the time to climb record of 3,000 meters or 10,000 feet. He absolutely shattered the old record, all the smithereens. So, as you can see, it doesn't only go up fast, it also goes very fast on a pylon course. First lap speed. On location for the upcoming release of a film that's going to be debuting this month, September 23rd, next week, as a matter of fact. Okay, we were talking about Jimmy Franklin's movie. It's coming out next week, September 23rd. It stars Charlie Sheen. It's called Terminal Velocity.
in that motion picture a tremendous amount of very innovative Hollywood stunts. And it was Jimmy Franklin that did at least one of those stunts in the movie. He had a Hollywood stuntman perched way out on the wingtip of the top wing. In the air, he slid that stuntman up to the rear open cargo door of a C-123. And the stuntman actually transitioned from the wing of Jimmy's biplane into the rear of that. Well, we had to work on it just wrong, man. He got it. He nailed it big time at Oshkosh, and now he's nailing the pylons and the checker flag. We'd like you to, a couple of months or so, but they won't stop. They've got a new improved version coming out called a C-130J model. The J model will incorporate higher horsepower Allison engines, more propeller blades. They'll have a 6-bladed propeller, a composite propeller. They will be eliminating the flight engineer's position. It will have greater range, greater payload, 5,000 feet here, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, you get the airplane on the ground, look it over, and get it repaired. And hopefully, and today, that we certainly hope that he will have this. You might mention this Corsair will be down in the pits for you to see if you want to go down and take a look at. Now we've been told Vaughn just lost part of his cowling.
Another one.
So, well, you don't want to see anything happen to an airplane. This is not anything that is particularly serious.
赤い横にテントがあるでしょ。向こうによ。青い屋根の黒い屋根のところに黒い屋根があるわ。黒い屋根のところに白い斜め立ってるだろ。あれが跳ねる。
As he comes by, ladies and gentlemen, thank him for his effort. Those of you who have been here the past 3 days have seen him fly and know what a fine performance Vaughn does put on. And we want to thank Dryers for being Vaughn's sponsor. Remember, the temperature is always right for a Dryers ice cream.
Well, Vaughn Olson, that is, saw something on the aircraft or felt a vibration that he didn't like. And rather than take a chance, he did what he should do, what every pilot should do, land his...
真っ黒けみたいになってる。
Yeah, both leading edges.
And other aircraft of interest on ground display there too. So live a little today. Grab your Kodak film, your Kodak camera. More than enough film to get the job done. And you'll see the great...
I'm very proud about that. And the people at Incredible Universe, which is a huge, huge store that sells everything. You name it, they sell it. They're very involved. They're excited about it.
We went up again this year and changed the engines, propellers, and hoped to get it out, but the weather just didn't cooperate, so we've got to go back next.
Picking them up, that's 52 P-51s out in the lead, the T-28 tucked in, and then going back with the other 3 airplanes, one of those being that Yak 3. Piloted by Bruce Lockwood. Another Alaskan, incidentally, by birth. Living down in the Los Angeles area now, picking him up. Bank rate of turn all the way through past start-finish line into pylon number 1. That is our $10 million baby, and on the outside it's Robert Converse. Coming on around now, we'll keep our eye on that lead airplane as he will be rolling wings level. It's that number 49 being passed by Robert Converse. So Graham Arnold letting Robert Converse have the lead, and the Yak. Now big challenge by Art Vance, and C.J. Stevens. In that number 16, the Camouflage 51, Graham Arnold, followed by Bruce Lockwood. And Robert Converse taking 3rd, Neil Anderson taking a respectable 4th in the T-28, and Lloyd Hamilton saying, I'm not gonna.
Nicknamed Mag. Julie, it's been a great 4 days, darling. I love you. You're marvelous, darling.
Here we see the BD-10. This is the airplane getting right overhead right now. We are using this airplane as the pace plane. The BD-10 is going to be making his first appearance here, but I suspect not his last. This is an airplane that you folks can own for yourself. Any question over to you?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now it's my great pleasure to introduce Mr. Leo Lallenflyer and the Bud Light 200. The man and his machine have become synonymous with aerobatic excellence. From the illustrious history of competition to today's non-stop air show action, Leo and the Bud an unprecedented 7 United States Aerobatic Championships and the world, many countries around the world, including the USSR, West Germany, and Australia. Now, all good aircraft are eventually... Now, let's try to go to the cockpit of the Bud Light 200 and talk to Sky Champion Leo Lallenflyer. The quarter times and then wave to low with a wag of the tail. Now it's time to tighten your safety belts as Leo starts his competition-style maneuvers in an aircraft he built and designed on his own. He sets up now for the inside loop, coming across, showing you the tremendous rate of roll in the Bud Light 200. As he recovers out of knife edge flight and rolls back to the flight position, holding the aircraft upside down. Now he'll turn around with 5/8 of a loop. In the negative G environment, as gravity forces try to force Leo away from the seat and out of the cockpit. On the descending line, let's watch for the inside snap roll after the roll. Let's snap right about in here. Now they combine 2 maneuvers into one. This is called the loop with a snap roll on top. The British call this maneuver the avalanche. From the very difficult inverted flight position, he'll snap roll the aircraft right about in here, all the way around back to the inverted flight position, pull the stick back into his lap, and the combination of the snap roll and snap roll is now complete. Now a series of horizontal rolls as he goes around once again, rolling the airplane down as down comes the rudder towards the runway, making final corrections. Watch the red ribbon, and he gets it and snap rolls the airplane into knife edge flight. Yes, applause is appreciated here. Let's hear it.
Is the 92 champ Jim Smith starting to move up through Stephen Brown and Mick Richardson, but he is going way wide. So it's number 30, Mike Stubbs, then Norman Way, then Earl Allen and Legal Eagle, then Mick Richardson, followed by Jim Smith. I think what was not a very good running airplane probably became worse. Up and out, and she's puffing a little black smoke there, indicating that it's either way too rich, and she's got some foul plugs, so she heads for that crosswind strip over there. Next pass should be the white flag. Hey.
Oshkosh for that great Experimental Aircraft Association convention. And if